This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Tuesday, July 21st. I am Tori here with Al. Stephanie joins us from home. I'm just going to call it out. I hate my hair. Everyone else looks great.
I like it.
I hate it. So I just wanted to let everyone know, but everyone else looks fantastic.
What's wrong with your hair?
You know what it looks like? Like I half blow dried it or blue dried it, and it's just like, That's what it was. If there's a sound, my
No
hair's
one's moved on since blue dried. We're all right there in that moment.
Is it blow dried or blue dried?
It's definitely not blue dried. Okay.
I'm gonna get to the story. I always
If I
had that
know one
question.
thing.
If I know one thing, it's
Even more than my kids' names, it's not blue dried.
Okay. Woo, I got warm in here. All right, Steph, sorry about that. We want to get to this because everyone in the world is talking about it. Kanye West. So last night, if you didn't know, he took to Twitter, tweeting, Kim was trying to fly to Wyoming with a doctor to lock me up, like on the movie Get Out, because I cried about saving my daughter's life. He also lashed out at his mother-in-law, the famous momager Kris Jenner, saying, Kris, don't play with me. You and that Kanye are not allowed around my children. Y'all tried to lock me up. So this was all after Kanye's presidential rally in South Carolina. I think it was a couple of days ago, where he made several controversial claims. And people are now really seriously worried about Kanye's mental state, including the singer Halsey, who I'm such a fan of. She tweeted, personal opinions about someone aside. A manic episode isn't a joke. If you can't offer understanding or sympathy, offer your silence. Let's just go out on a limb here and say we all feel like we're watching what we do feel is some kind of mental break, right, with reality. I want to ask you, Steph, what I've been interested in hearing is the Kardashians are very, very angry because he went so far about speaking about their daughter, Northwest, and about a possible abortion, which is very uncomfortable as just a married couple. How do you feel about that?
Yes.
And could this be a breakup because of that?
Oh gosh, I mean that's a hard question to answer.
Yeah.
I do think he publicly humiliated his wife.
Right.
He exposed things that I'm sure Kim would never have wanted the public to know. I worry most, to be honest, about North, because she's of an age where she's aware of what's going on, and I worry about her mental health in all of this, because imagine hearing your father speak to thousands of people and it being all over the press about basically your mother and father potentially not wanting you and aborting you. So I worry about her mental health with that, and I hope that she has the support and love from other members of the family to make her know that it's nothing to do with her, and that daddy is a bit unwell right now and he needs a bit of help. So I do worry about that. As for the breakup, I'm not sure. I mean, Kim heavily supported Kanye. She knows he's got bipolar disorder. What I worry about is how I feel like the Kardashians have made quite light of Kanye's situation, in the fact that Kim has publicly said she sees Kanye. Why do people call out Kanye for being a free speaker or a free thinker? And she says, you know, she kind of makes light of his bipolar, I feel. I feel like when it came to Lamar Odom, the family were very quick to rush in and get him to rehab, and I know that they have done this previously when he's had other episodes. But I feel like moving forward, I would like to see Kim come a bit more forward, talk a bit more about mental health, talk a little bit about like how, you know, she's helping him, and I don't want it to be all smoke and mirrors behind the doors and all of a sudden we don't hear from Kanye and he comes out better than ever. I'd like her to be very open and honest, because she's got the platform that she now needs to use, and she creates a voice for so many unheard voices, and this is something that we need to hear directly from her, I feel.
I understand your point completely, but I think maybe sometimes you might be just too hurt and too angry. Al, what would you do if someone in your family was just out of control like this? Do you take them in unwillfully against their will?
I've dealt with that.
Yeah.
And, you know, in Florida, there's an act called the Baker Act. I believe it's named after a congressman. It was done to a friend of mine, and he says that was a changing point in his life, where he was detained for 48 hours because your family can say that they see you as a threat to yourself, and they take your shoelaces and the whole nine. I believe in California it's called a 5150. There's sometimes when you need help, when it's no different than your arm being broken, your brain, there's something going on, and something needs to happen. And I mean, if you think about it, if we pull back from the Kardashian family, it seems like we're a society that doesn't know what to do with mental illness. When you walk the streets of any major American city, it's almost all you see is a shattered man or woman out there that needs help, that's speaking to themselves, that's yelling, that's violent, that's, you know, withdrawn. All these different symptoms, and no one knows what to do. Do you give them money? Do you call the cops? Like, what do you do when you see a man asleep on the corner?
Yeah.
What do you do? No one knows what to do.
I know. And I do appreciate what Steph is saying is if Kim spoke out about it, mental health, it would mean a lot. But I also know as a woman and a wife, that would be really hard right now to be in the middle of all of this. So interesting and very complex, I think. Let's move on to a brighter spot. Alex Trebek's new memoir hit the shelves today.
Yes.
One day before his 80th birthday. It's called The Answer Is: Reflections on My Life. The longtime Jeopardy host takes readers behind the scenes of the hit game show and his ongoing battle with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And last night, viewers were treated to Alex's very first episode as part of the Jeopardy Vault series. Alex spoke to Good Morning America about how he doesn't plan on ever walking away from the show, but did offer up someone who could replace him. Watch this.
I joke with the audience and I say Betty White.
It's a good call.
Because they want somebody younger, somebody funnier.
She checks all
those boxes. Betty and I have been friends for a long, long time.
I think Betty White is a national treasure, but we don't want to lose Alex. I didn't know he wore a wig for a long time. Did you know that, Al?
I did not.
I did not know.
I remember when we covered the story, you immediately, you know, when somebody's on chemo, you look at their hair.
Sure.
That's just part of it. And I was like, his hair looks wonderful. So I thought that was strange, but I didn't go any further than that. But yeah, I did look.
Turns out, well, good for him to do a memoir through all of this. Will you be reading this one, Steph? You're shaking your head, yeah.
Oh, I think he seems like an absolutely wonderful guy. Would I read the memoir? I'm not sure. I know our co-host Erica Cobb loves Alex Trebek, so she definitely will be reading it. But I heard that he started wearing a wig back in 2018, and it was actually because he had 2 blood clots removed from either side of his brain, and the scars were so huge, and his hair wasn't quite covering it. So the producers of the show recommended it, and then he's just obviously kept it, and he's gone into chemo and, you know, on and on and on. I feel like he's really had a tough time and he's really been through the mill. But, you know, I'm glad he's doing great. He looks amazing. And he did say, when he did this interview, he said, this wig isn't me. When I leave and I'm not on set and I'm not work, this is not how I look. Wow. You know, I'd love to see that too. You know, I'd like to see him like show how he is and like really, obviously he's letting people in with his words, but obviously I would like to see him too, but obviously that's a very personal thing. So whether or not he would, I don't know.
I think we'd all like a little insight, but he's done a nice job of making that personal and private, I think. But I didn't know about the wig.
And also, really quickly, replacement, Ken Jennings.
Oh my God, Ken Jennings would be amazing. He's funny on Twitter.
He's funny on Twitter. He's obviously one of the best that's ever played the show.
That's right.
And it seems like he and Alex are good friends. That's my thought.
Good for you, buddy. Or Al Jackson. Let's move on to, speaking of Kardashians earlier, Khloe Kardashian is being accused of selling something that allegedly actually never belonged to her. Fashion designer Christian Cowan called out the reality star for trying to profit off a dress he apparently lent her. Christian found the dress on Kardashian Closet, a luxury designer resale site run by the family, and posted a message asking why the runway samples he loaned her were being sold. He also wrote, "We emailed 3 times and I've had no response." Steph, you are fluent in this kind of world. Is that like a total taboo, a faux pas? Am I right?
Oh, okay. First of all, is it a faux pas? Absolutely. Is it Khloe's fault? Absolutely not. So I'm all for Khloe in this situation. Now, the reason I say this is I guarantee she will be getting sent thousands of sample dresses of brands wanting her to rep them every single day. Now, it's down to her assistants and the people around her that are organising that and knowing what's to keep, what's to wear once to a red carpet or event, and what's to send back and what's a sample. I don't think Khloe has any idea. They're the Kardashians, the most famous family in the world. They're going to get inundated. So I think what's obviously happened here is her assistants done a terrible job. They've not been keeping up the emails and the inventory on these items, and they've not been sending them back. I know for a fact that's happened to me before, where I've been sent things on my old-fashioned job, and there were so many brands coming at us that wanted to be featured. It was ridiculous. We were like sifting through, and literally it was someone's job every day to make sure, right, that's been worn, that gets sent back. Right, Stephanie can keep that, that goes over here. So, and I'm no Kardashian, I don't have millions of followers, so I think it's definitely her assistant. Someone there is not doing their job and needs sacking, Tori.
Sacking, do you agree?
Wow, I
Sack
like
the
it.
assistant?
Yes. Can they get one mistake? If they're getting tens
You're
of
Khloe,
thousands.
you can't get one. You got 3 emails missed. She's right.
Yeah, but she's probably getting 30,000.
Yeah.
I'm
You know
Team
what?
Steph on this one. I think that they're just overwhelmed, and I think sometimes it results like this. But I don't think anybody should lose their job in this economy. Come on.
All right. Well, you're being
Show heart.
a softie. Let us know what you guys think. Stephanie, do not go away, because coming up on DBL, if you need a new show to binge, Netflix is taking you inside the world of arranged marriages in India. The practice is still very much alive and well. And as we go to break, you can check out the empty studio, because we at DBL are committed to helping get COVID under control from working from home. We'll be right back.
Pets are family, and we know.
Welcome back to DBL. Move over, Tiger King. Wow.
Okay.
Netflix has a new binge-worthy docu-series called Indian Matchmaking. It looks at the practice of arranged marriages in the Indian culture. So let's take a look.
In India, the marriages, they are between two families. So the parents guide their children, and that is the work of a matchmaker.
Very nice person, understands sense of humor.
You know how I hate comedy.
How do you hate comedy?
I've never heard anybody say
like,
that
I hate
before.
food. I hate music. It's very strange. I will be super honest with you guys. I'm Jewish, and it's very important for my mom and my dad that I married someone Jewish. Now that comes from, I think, a basis of Holocaust and wanting to repopulate with Jews, but there was a strong sense that they tried to almost kind of set me up in this old school yenta, which means matchmaker, way. So I definitely respond to this. Is this totally new to you?
I don't think so. I mean, I've dated people that definitely said that their parents would prefer for them to marry somebody that they're more like. We'll say that. And that's not my current relate. Like years ago, this is a thing.
Sure.
And so this isn't that shocking to me. And I think the idea that as long as the person is able to say no,
right,
I think people are okay with that. You know, at least a little bit. It's not just like, here's your husband, go get married right now.
It doesn't feel a little factory oriented for you, Steph. I want to get your take on this too. It doesn't feel like, you know, product A, product B. You like this, Steph.
I don't mind it. You know, I think each to their own. I think it's very heavily based on the culture that you grow up in. I think this is nothing new. I think in the Middle East, this is very standard practice. And even if you, obviously I know you're Jewish, Tori, but I think it depends on, I don't know what the right word is, how heavily invested you are in maybe to the religion. Like if you watch the TV series on Netflix, Unorthodox, where the rabbi sets up different couples from different families, and he's like, I feel like this family should be a match with this family, and so on and so forth. So I think, you know, it's something that's been around for generations. It's not going to end anytime soon. It's just whether or not, I hope that everyone who participates in it is fully willing, like Al said, because there's nothing worse than, you know, maybe you walk down the aisle on your wedding day and you see your partner and you don't know where that's going to go. So I hope that it's not always as black and white as that.
Right.
But, you know, it's nothing new, is it?
Steph, I want to ask you, how is this different from that show Married at First Sight, which I watched, where you literally just meet at the altar?
Because you're willingly doing that, right? Like I signed up for that show. Go ahead, Steph.
Yeah, that's like an intense level, isn't it? That's putting a lot of faith into like the show and that they found the right person for you and all of that. I don't think I personally could do that. I have to know if there's got to be a little bit of chemistry, right? There's got to be something before you say I do, and it's like you're signing up for life.
It's like,
but, you know, some people just really believe in the people around them, their families and things, that they're going to find them the right person.
Now, I would be not correct in not stating that some of these arranged marriages are against their will in other places, and we're only speaking about the ones where they're viable, because we want to make sure that that's also mentioned, because that's also going on with young girls, and we want to make sure that that is mentioned as well.
Yeah.
All right, good discussion, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, coming up on DBL, we're getting spooky on this Tuesday. I go one-on-one with psychic medium Thomas John. Did he actually predict the pandemic? And he predicted something on me he didn't even know he did. It's amazing. We'll find out.
We all know that movement
Welcome back to DBL. Psychic medium Thomas John is renowned for his ability to make accurate predictions about the future and communicate with the deceased. And he's doing it on a new show, The Thomas John Experience. I spoke with him and found out some really interesting things earlier in today's DBL Spotlight.
She's making some sort of joke about something with her passing where she had to wear wigs. Of course, when I hear that, I'm thinking, oh, it must be cancer.
I've been waiting for this interview. Thomas John, welcome to DBL. First off, before we dive in, I just want you to describe in your own terms what a psychic medium is and what they're capable of.
A psychic medium is somebody that is able to connect with loved ones on the other side, and they do that through their psychic abilities. They also may give you guidance about your past, present, or future.
Wow. That's a good person to have as a friend. I hope you'll be mine after this interview. So you have an amazing track record of making correct predictions about celebrity splits and major events. So I want to know, what have you predicted so far in the nightmare that is 2020? Did you at all see the coronavirus coming?
Well, actually, it's interesting. I do a whole prediction event in the month of January every year. And I had predicted that March and April and May were going to be very difficult months. I had kind of explained certain things. I didn't necessarily say, the coronavirus, but there's an energetic shift, and there's these times in our history in our life where a big shift happens. And sometimes it does require us to go through some of these difficult things, but a lot of times it brings us to a higher place. So that's the way I look at it.
Not only can you predict the future, but you can communicate with the dead. And I wanted to know, do you always see them? And is it, I'm somewhat empathic, and I say that very humbly, but is it tiresome to always have them around, or can you turn it off?
It's not really tiresome. I mean, it's sort of just a kind of a part of how my mind works.
Yeah.
I feel and sense spirit quite a bit.
I mean, is it hard to get lonely? Because you kind of always have people around you. Is that comforting?
I always have friends, yeah. I find it very comforting. I always kind of joke and say, dead people are not scary, living people are scary. I like the connection with the spirit world. I love being able to bridge that for people and connect with people like that.
Yeah, it's so healing when you do. I want to know if any notable people shown up to you to talk to you that you've been really sort of surprised or shocked by.
Oh yeah, I've had Lucille Ball, Michael Jackson has come through several times, and a lot of times those are people, they come through because of a specific reason, so they don't just show up in somebody random's reading. I did a reading once for, actually she was a client of mine for many years, and she was a professional singer, but she had no connection to Judy Garland, and Judy Garland came through to her and gave her some singing advice, which was interesting.
Wow. I'm just gonna show up and give you some advice. That's unbelievable. How insane is that? How do you give people closure and the Thomas John experience?
There's a feeling of just, he died doing what he loved, Tim. I can't.
When I bring a message through, it's more than, oh, your Grandma Rose is here. Oh, your Grandma Evelyn's here. Oh, this person's here. It's more about, this person is here, and here's a message that they can give you to help you or guide you. And a lot of times I think that is something that's really important.
My grandmother's name was Evelyn, and her mother was named Rose. So thank you for doing that. Well, you're insane.
Oh, wow.
And my Hebrew name is Shoshana, which means rose, so very strange. And amazing.
They just showed up.
Yeah, and Evelyn is very important to me. She is the comic, and she is my grandmother, and I took after her the most, so I really appreciate that. Thomas John, make him a day. Thank you so much for chatting with us, sir. We will be right back. Thanks again, Thomas.
Okay, thanks, honey.
Promotional consideration.
No, 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night is essential, but adding just 20 minutes to that can make a huge impact. We're chatting about it in today's Rise and Thrive, sponsored by So Clean. So doctors say 20 more minutes of sleep can do wonders for your mood, health, and productivity. WellAndGood.com studied a group of people, some who slept more, some who slept less. Then they exposed them all to a type of virus. Don't worry. Not the coronavirus. Those who got less sleep were nearly 4 times more likely to get sick. When it comes to sleep, for more ways to rest easy, go to SoClean.com or call 1-800-562-3891. That's it.
Back in my stand-up comedy days, I'll be most susceptible to getting sick on like the overnight flights where you just don't get that really good sleep. And yeah, that would happen, especially if I had to fly into it and then fly out that night. Guaranteed to get sick.
Wow. I mean, Steph, 4 times is likely. That's incredible. I'm going to get a little cat nap. Are you a napper?
Yeah, I'm a big sleeper. People around me are 4 times more likely to hate me if I don't sleep.
No one hates Steph.
Yeah.
No one can. It's impossible. DBL is new every single day. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Goodbye, everybody.
Well said. Love you, Steph.
Thank you.